right, hi everybody, David Fogel back with you, CEO of the Symphonina Foundation, back with another Symphonina Foundation podcast. Usually, we're interviewing one person, but today we have the pleasure of interviewing two. Premik Russell Tubbs, Margee Tubbs, how are you today?
Wonderful and very honored to be with you.
Oh, well, the pleasure's all mine. Margee, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Where do we find you?
In the world, on planet Earth, we are in Brookfield, Connecticut.
Brookfield, Connecticut. Okay, all right. East Coast time. It's getting a little late for us today, East Coast time. What have you been up to today? I'm guessing you've been recording some flute or something for somebody, or saxophone. How did I know? Yeah. That's because Margee told me you're on about 10 to 12 albums this year already, and we're only on April 23.
At least, yeah, at least I've been keeping a list of it. Yes, so we've been recording every day. Yeah.
Actually, you're in Orange County, and I was just working with someone who I've never met live and in person, but we have an online relationship. A keyboard player, kind of a jazz fusion keyboard player named Lance LaBelle. I don't know him, but I just did a sax track for him yesterday and part of today. Wonderful. Oh, EUB as well, electronic wind synthesizer.
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, I have so many things that could be first of all with you, but first of all, congratulations on your Grammy nomination for last year for Shayan. Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations, and I think probably long in the making and well-deserved. That would be fair. And also, Premik, thank you for performing on our upcoming album, which doesn't have a title yet. We're working on that diligently right now to try to get a consensus around what we're going to call an album that has a lot of different symphoninas on it, but we greatly appreciate you playing flute as part of our 2026 International Symphonina Orchestra for Alex Unses Symphonina. I hope you had a great time playing for it.
A real joy, real unique kind of experience, too.
Alex has a sort of Broadway-esque sort of style to writing symphoninas that you don't find yet in others that I've heard. And so with everything, you always have to be on your toes as a musician playing any one of his things. So you have your little stint, and then you got to pipe down for a minute, and then you're back up again, and then you're back down again, and it keeps you on your toes.
And the flute parts were just the right amount of challenging.
Good. I appreciate that. We don't want to give you anything that's too easy. How did you get so good at all these instruments? What do you play? You play flute, saxophone? You must play a wide range of other things too. Steel guitar or something too, if I remember correctly.
Steel guitar.
Well, how do you? I twang along on the lap steel guitar as well. It was just absolute fun.
Yeah. How did you get so good? When did you start?
Here, I don't know if you can see. This is a picture.
I can see it. Our listeners won't be able to see it, but we can describe it. There he is as a little kid.
4 years old, sitting at the piano. He's classically trained by his father, who was a jazz musician, and here's another little picture of Premik, 4 years old, playing 45 records.
That's with me as being a record critic.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, we do record the video, Margee, for this, so we'll be able to do a couple of screen captures for you at those times, and I think we could post them if you'd like. I think everybody likes to go look back and see where they were when they started, and that's pretty young to be starting. That's great. So were you very diligent about your piano practicing and all that when you first started?
Diligent, yeah, you could say so. As diligent as a 4 or 5 year old could be, banging along and just making sounds. Now, I heard rock and roll on the radio for the first time when I was like 7 years old, and I said, "Dad, what is that sound?" And it was like that raunchy tenor saxophone sound, from the old records, like by the Coasters. And And I said, Dad, that's the instrument I want to play, whatever that is. And Dad said, okay. Now, Russell, just hold on a minute. Says, what I'd like you to do is we want to start you on clarinet, which legit-wise is probably the best way to get started, because the other way around is actually more difficult if you get so used to a saxophone technique and then have to switch to a clarinet technique. So he knew what he was doing, put it that way. But I tell you, once that tenor saxophone came into my hands, clarinet, took somewhat of a back seat.
Yeah.
But that's made a comeback in more recent years.
He still teaches clarinet.
Yeah, I do.
He teaches in 2 schools.
Then flute came along actually considerably later. Like I say, okay, if I'm going to be a woodwind person, I guess I should pick up this flute and start making sounds on it.
Yeah.
Started to get more and more into it. Now it runs it's pretty much even on an even keel, sax and flute. And in the mid '80s, a friend of mine turned me on to this thing called an iwi, and I said, "What's that?"
Yeah, what is that?
It's an electronic wind instrument. And then I heard the great Michael Brecker playing on one of those, and I said, "Oh my God, what is this?" And a friend of mine said, "Hey, if you remember the Sam Ash music store chain, they
I
were
do.
a pile of these things that nobody was buying." He says, "Get down to your Sam Ash, buy one of these, and just start playing it." And so, a lot of the recordings I do with people like Will Ackerman and other, great producers like that, they ask me to play Iwi as much as sax or flute, if not more.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay. All right.
because of its unique kind of sound.
And how long ago did the Iwi come out?
Oh, the first ones came out pre-MIDI, like around early 80s, like 82, 83.
Okay.
Michael Brecker they had this one called a Lyricon that Will Ackerman still uses that term, even though they haven't been made for years and years.
Right.
I
Okay.
think it's some type of a certified with GUO. There's a website, and you're a certified Iwi player.
Oh, not Iwi. That's the type of a brand of flute. I play this
Oh,
brand of flute
okay.
called the Guo, which is like
Yeah.
made of a black composite material, which is meant to imitate the sound of black wood.
Yes. And you played on
And
that for our
yeah,
album
in fact,
too.
I use that on the flute two part on the Symphonina project.
Yeah. I want to
Yeah,
say something about the clarinet for a second, if I could. So, as I mentioned to you
sure.
both before we got started, my dad played saxophone and clarinet and flute and piano and several other things too.
Amazing.
And when he passed away, he left me a saxophone and he left me a clarinet and he left me a flute. Left me two saxophones, two clarinets. I've sold one of each of those, but I kept one just in case, and I've obviously picked up the saxophone again, as you can see. Been playing that for another 9 years now. But the clarinet I found is a very, very challenging instrument compared to the saxophone. So I totally agree with you. If you had to pick an order, pick the tougher one first, as long as you're up for the challenge. But
Exactly.
if you're not up for the challenge, I had probably 4 to 5 months of clarinet, and at some point I just okay, it's about the same as I had for the violin. At some point you say, you know what, I'm not going to do this. I'm not. There's not enough time in the day for me to even possibly get good at this. So I'm just gonna go do something and let Premik and other people play that. So hats off to you to be able to play so many instruments so well and keep it all up. It's great.
Yeah, it's been his life journey. Yeah, really.
Yeah,
He
for
is a
sure.
true,
How did you
true.
two meet?
Oh, well, we met like peripherally about 24, 25 years ago through
Okay.
a very close friend of mine who Premik has been performing with for 25 years. I was actually married before, so I wasn't quite available then. And then we met again about 15 years ago. And at that point, I think it was a little bit of one of those love at first sight, and just kind of took a little bit of time. And then we decided to get married. And so
Yeah.
we've been married and living together about 8 years.
Okay, and obviously you're helping produce and perform and create music together and all that. So, Margee, you share with me a piece that's coming up off of an album that you're working on. I think it was called "In the Stillness of the Stars." Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the title of the album.
Okay, tell us about the album and when we can expect it and what it's all about.
Oh, okay. Well, so Premik and I started doing sound healings together in a lot of little spiritual centers around Connecticut, probably about 7 years ago. We were doing like monthly sound healings, and he would play the flute and mellifluous music.
Bass flute actually quite a lot, which is a
Okay.
lovely meditative type of instrument.
Yeah.
Play like the Tibetan bowls and the triangle and my Kashi chimes, but I did guided imagery. We'd take everyone during the sound healings on these very beautiful celestial cosmic journeys to heal the heart and heal the soul. And at the end, people were like in tears, and everyone was, oh, how can we listen to this more? And I said to Premik, we really need to create an album. People said, you have CDs we can buy. Can we listen to you on streaming platforms? So that was the initial inspiration several years ago. And I started writing In the Stillness of the Stars probably at least 3 years ago and started writing. I wrote several songs. And then what happened was I had an inspiration to write my children's album, Pathways, at the same time.
Yeah.
And I thought, since I was phasing out of teaching children, that we would put In the Stillness of the Stars on the back burner and finish Pathways. So Pathways came out 2 years ago, as you know. Then last year, I said to Premik, well, we need to finish In the Stillness of the Stars. We started working on it. The album was at least half or more finished, gorgeous, gorgeous pieces. And then I got inspired to create Wondrous World, our kind of jazz fusion album that as well. we were trying very hard to finish In the Stillness of the Stars. And I think it was Wouter Kellerman who said to me once, never work on 2 albums at once.
It's good advice.
Finally,
I can't do it, but it's great advice.
And, you're doing it now.
You know.
The Stars
Yes.
went on the back burner a year ago, a little over a year ago. We finished Won This World. And so for this year, we're back on track, and 7 gorgeous songs. Let's see, about 4 songs are pretty much finished, and we have 3 more that need to be finished in the next, say, month.
Okay.
And so that's it. It's very cosmic. You've listened to 1111, the title track, which has a little bit of the jazz fusion in it.
Yeah.
There are songs with some vocals. We have a couple of vocalists in mind to sing with me, and there are some that I actually had the courage to do the vocals on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just gorgeous. It's very healing, very beautiful, very cosmic, very ethereal, very magical. There's one song I wrote called Aritea, which Aritea means I used to live in Tahiti in French
nice.
Polynesia for many years because I'm French. In Tahitian, Aritea means the white prince coming down from the heavens. So it's the year of the horse. So that's just going to be a gorgeous surprise. It's a perfect song for the year of the horse because it comes in with, you hear kind of the galloping of a horse, and it kind of ends. And we have Zach Brock.
I was just going to say, we should tell them about our special guests.
Yeah, Zach Brock, Grammy-winning violinist, 6-time Grammy-winning violinist. He's featured on every song in the album, just about every song.
Very nice.
And we actually have Stefan Rembel on the album, the guitarist, gypsy jazz guitarist, who's like my cosmic brother. He's on the album as well. And Swaminathan Selvaganesh plays Kenjuri. He's featured on the album. So yeah, we just have to make our final decision.
When do you think it might be released?
We're hoping to have it finished in just the next few weeks, and then like a June release is mid-June is what we're hoping.
You're busy people then. You got 3 songs to do and reviewing everything, and you've got a June release, so that's right around the corner.
Gorgeous, cosmic, beautiful, gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
My studio computer is loaded up with, I can't even tell you how many tracks of, Tibetan bowls and this sound, all kinds of bells.
3-4 tracks from last year of In the Stillness of the Stars. That's song number 2 on the album. So we're working on that right now. So yes.
How do you choose how to prioritize your time? As you said, our friend Wouter Kellerman was saying not to. There's a Chinese saying, "Don't chase 2 rabbits," but it's the same thing, right? But I've never followed that ever in my life, so it's worked out okay for me, I think. But maybe if I had just chased fewer rabbits, maybe things would have worked out better. We can't go back in time to know. But how is it that you choose the things that you want to do?
For me, musical creation comes spontaneously. I mean, of course, when you have an assignment, like, you have to do a score for something, that's something different. But very often I find that the best things come from within, spontaneously. And then you just take the wave and ride with it, basically, and then once the creation starts, I think I know I and many other people sometimes have the problem of, you could say, over creativity, where you start a project and say, oh, it sounds like, oh wait, but now I have another idea, and then I get halfway, oh, but wait, I have another idea. So you can end up with many unfinished pieces. So you want to be a little careful of that, to have a definite concept in mind, as Stillness of the Stars is.
I think Premik and I both view each day that we're alive as the golden opportunity to creatively participate in life.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a very beautiful routine that we honor with incorporating meditation, daily meditation. I'm usually up a little earlier than he is, usually by about 6-ish. And from between 6 and 8 in the morning, it's just non-negotiable. I do my silent meditation with my birds in the garden. I have hundreds of birds that join. They're waiting for me. I mean, they would eat right out of my hands. I buy very expensive bird seed for them. And
Lucky birds, those are.
They're very lucky, yes. And I've been writing a book for a number of years. I have about 1,000 pages written. And every morning I do spiritual writing. I do my silent meditation. And then I do that in my fashion design studio. and my jewelry design studio. So sometimes I'm working on fashion design early in the morning, and the last couple of weeks I've been designing jewelry. I only use gold and silver and precious gems. So the last couple of weeks it's been jewelry design. And then usually by about 8:30, I come back. My fashion design studio and School of Fashion Design is in a converted horse barn on our property. So it's another building. And then I come in and I join him, and he's usually finishing up his meditation. And then we really begin our day. We have very nourishing food and smoothies, and we're vegetarian. And then the music starts, and he teaches every day as well.
How many students do you have, Premik?
Let's see, I teach out of 2 different music schools as well as private students.
Oh,
so
and you are busy.
I guess the number is around 18 to 20 right now.
Okay. So you have an album you're doing, you play on other people's albums, and you're teaching 18 students, and you have time for each other. So you are a well-oiled machine, both of you. You have a very efficient and effective relationship. It's great.
Yes,
congratulations to you.
Vata energy, which is in Indian cultures, we both are very active participants in life. We really. So it's very beautiful. And we also go for a little hike every day, a walk, a power walk.
Good to get out. Although I bet in Connecticut in the wintertime, that's a challenge. But
brutal. Yeah. It was brutal this winter.
Hey, I want to ask you, Premik, if I might, and Margee too, depends on what your experience has been, since we are at the Symphonina Foundation here. I want to go back to, I know you performed with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. You were a soloist, as I understand, with a session there. And I want to know, you performed at Carnegie Hall. On your resume that I've seen, you perform with Herbie Hancock, and I mean the list of people can go on and on and on. Has been so successful. But are there any instances with symphonic relationship that stand out in your mind in your long career, or something that you would like to share with the listeners?
Thank you very much. Well, there's 2 I immediately think of. Let's see. One is I had the opportunity to perform twice at Carnegie Hall with works by the composer Sir Carl Jenkins.
Okay.
That was beautiful, beautiful experience indeed. But I'd say the one that really stands out in my mind is the experience with the Royal Philharmonic in 2014, because they commissioned a piece to be done by a friend of mine based, very interesting, it was based on an Indian spiritual melody by Sri Chinmoy, and my friend expanded that into a full orchestral work with the help of an orchestrator friend, but giving a lot of solo room for the soprano sax. We would do the original melody, but then there were numerous sections where I would just, be allowed to just take off. And when you're taking off and improvising with a full tilt orchestra behind you, it's one of the thrills. Very different than, improvising with like a 4 or 5 piece band.
Right.
Whole other energy, but very, very special.
And let me ask you about that a little bit. I've spoken with Justin Chart, saxophone player you may know in LA, alto player primarily, about improvising with orchestra. And it's interesting to me to think about what sort of guardrails you would want to put on the orchestra in order to support someone well enough to be able to let them improvise to whatever the orchestra is playing. Because, orchestra symphony players generally aren't improvisers. Don't mean to put them in a box. Some of them probably can. But a lot of the ones that I've met are like, no, we don't really do that. We are great sight readers, and we practice that, and we play the standard repertoire great. But when it comes to like, hey, we're going to improvise ourselves, that's not really what they do, mostly. And then maybe, not knowing how to support you doing that too. So in that particular situation that you were in, what was the structure that was provided for you to be able to do that improvisation?
Well, I didn't have a chord chart per se like you would in jazz tunes. Basically, I simply had to listen.
Wow. Okay.
You could say those sections of the piece were kind of like more modal, like I knew they were in G, for example, but it would morph into different colors and different modulations. So you just kind of like riding a big wave, really. The orchestra was like playing some very, very dynamic sections, and we just the piece would just build and build, and have a lot of dips and turns, and so you basically you just have to use I just had to use my ear. I had the written parts and then unwritten parts.
Premik has a very special gift, which I've witnessed now for a couple of decades, where he can just tune into what he hears and even anticipate. And he's the king of improvisation. And he just has this way of music seems to flow. I really feel from the beyond, like right through him. He's very, very gifted virtuoso, multi-instrumentalist.
Yep.
And I've really witnessed it. So.
I'm sure you had. It's your privilege, really. I mean, it's a pleasure, but I'm sure it's a privilege too to be able to be around anybody who's at that level. Premik, do you have a favorite? I mean, you mentioned the soprano sax. Soprano sax is one of my favorite instruments. But I bet if you might
mean like a desert island experience. If I was
that's a great way to put it. Which instrument would you have with you?
I would probably say soprano sax, to be honest. Just because I bond with it. I find I bond with it in a very, very special way. Even though I love all the woodwinds, there's some connection. And this particular instrument I have, it's kind of a unique one. It's called the Saxello design, where it has a slightly upturned bell.
Okay.
And the company that designed it was from a friend of mine, and it just has a very unique sound. And very often the soprano sax, they hear a lot of the players play, can sound a bit nasally, to be quite honest. But something about this horn is primarily made of nickel and has a very rich tone to it.
Okay. All right.
And so I really bond with that one. So if I was stuck with one and only one horn, I think that would probably be the one.
And hopefully a 2 or 3 boxes of reeds so you don't run out for a while.
Oh, don't worry. I use synthetic reeds.
Don't you use a synthetic?
One will last me 3 years.
All right. There we go. That's very good. Well, I think it's important to note that there's no instrument that doesn't really go in the symphony orchestra, right? A lot of times people don't think of a saxophone per se as a symphony orchestra instrument, although John Williams has done that a lot, and I think Hans Zimmer has too, and a bunch of other people. But it's not really what we think of generally in a standard orchestra. But I think almost any instrument can go with symphony orchestra and help promote the joy of symphonic music, as we like to do here at the Symphonina Foundation. So we appreciate all that. And I want to wish you the best of luck within the Stillness of the Stars. When it comes out, you'll have to let us know so we can help give a little shout out on that one. And again, Premik, we greatly appreciate you with your support. And that means Margee, you too, because it's a team effort to have Premik on our album for coming up for this year. We'll keep you posted on when that's ready. Probably mid-July we'll be releasing. And we're going to listen to some more of that great music that you're about to release on the way out here. If people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
Well, you can feel free to go to my website, which is premikmusic.com, which is spelled Premik music.com. And you can feel free to send me messages there and find out all the upcoming events and projects that are on the way.
That sounds good. Margee, if people want to get in touch with you specifically, where would they go to get in touch with you?
Well, I guess they could send me a private message on Facebook, and then we could connect on WhatsApp. We can connect through. We have a website with our record label, margee12records.com. It's MARGETOILE records.com. So that you can also join our mailing list through that or his site. So if anyone wants to be in touch with me, they can get in touch with me through Premik.
That all sounds great. So does your music. We're going to listen to some more of that on the way out. Greatly appreciate your time, and both of you. And if there's anything we can do at the Symphonina Foundation to be of help, you just let us know.
David, thank you so much. I really enjoyed telling you, and all the best with the release of that beautiful work as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
See you soon,
much.
I hope.
Thank you.